Many people make financial resolutions for New Year, but there are a multitude of reasons why people don't always succeed. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about what are some of the most common New Year's resolutions with money, what are the reasons why people fail, and how you can beat them and make sure that you see success with your resolution. Hey guys, it's Jonny. So as we come to the end of 2023 and we look towards 2024, finances is something that is probably on our mind, and we might be thinking about what kind of things we can do to improve our financial situation next year, or what steps we can take to maintain a good financial situation that we may have had this year. Both the Motley Fool and Forbes did surveys about Americans and their New Year's resolutions, and the Motley Fool found that 2/3 of respondents, 67%, had financial resolutions, and Forbes found that 38% of respondents to their survey had financial resolutions for New Year. And there were a large range of financial resolutions that came out in these surveys, but the top three were paying off debt, so perhaps it's a credit card, paying off the loan on a car that you've taken out, if you have student debt, or maybe even for some people it's paying off your mortgage. Another common goal that both surveys found was to save more money. Saving more money can be saving to finance a big life event such as a wedding, such as having a family or buying your first home together, or it could be financing just a big purchase such as a car, maybe an electronic device, or a holiday. However, as I'm sure we all know, New Year's resolutions don't always go to plan. According to this Forbes study, over half of New Year's resolutions will fail by the third month. And the Motley Fool survey gave a list of reasons why people weren't able to keep financial resolutions in the past. So what I'm going to do now is talk through each of these reasons and give you my thoughts on how you can overcome the challenges that come with each one of them. So the first reason that people said that they failed financial New Year's resolutions in the past is that it becomes too expensive to keep the resolution. Now, this one I think is very understandable. Of course, over the past 3 years, cost of living in a lot of countries has risen significantly. Inflation has been on the rise. We're in very turbulent and uncertain times in a global, socioeconomic, political context as well. So this is completely understandable. And they're perfectly valid concerns as well. We have no control over these. These are uncontrollable things that we can't really have an impact in. What we can do is something I believe it's Dave Ramsey who said this is to control the controllables. And what is controllable is how we react, how we behave in these circumstances. And so a good starting point with this is to use a budget. So tracking what money is coming in every month and what expenses are going out every month as well. A budget is a critical tool for keeping track of your finances. And if you're using a budget for the first time or for the first few months, it can be a real eye-opener to see where you're spending money. And you should be able to easily identify areas where you can perhaps cut back, or where you can modify your behavior in order for you to improve what your situation is at the end of the month. Of course, this isn't to take away from the fact that, people face hardships and go through difficult situations, but we can all try and do something and take that first step to identify what our current situation is and how we might look to adapt or change it going forward. The second reason that people failed, that I believe is related to the first reason, though it may not sound like it, is that they're unable to maintain the behavior required to fulfill the resolution. And linking this back to the first point, if we think about our budget, we can make behavioral adaptations, we can change our spending behavior, we can perhaps look to find more income thanks to our budget. Our budget will help us guide our behavior so that we can try and finish the month with reasonable income and expenditure for our situation. However, if there's nothing to guide that behavior, there's little motivation to follow through with the resolution, and there's little incentive to make changes to your behavior to try and fulfill that resolution. In addition to having a budget, it's also important to have a reason why you're doing something. Like, for example, when we think of people's financial goals, if they want to save for a wedding, if they want to be able to plan financially to have a family. These are good reasons and good motivators, and strong motivators as well, for you to make behavioral changes with your finance, with your spending, perhaps looking to earn more money as well, so that you can follow through and keep that resolution. If you don't have a reason why, a motivation to make those behavioral changes, then it's essentially like kicking a football in an open field with no goal. There's no direction, there's nothing to guide what you do and where you go. Now, when it comes to changing your behavior and comes to forming a habit, research has typically shown it takes about 14 days to form a habit. And this brings me to the third reason why people don't always keep their resolutions, and it's because they don't have enough time to keep those resolutions. Again, this is something I can relate to as a very busy person myself. Sometimes there just aren't enough hours in the day to do what we need to do. When it comes to your finances, what you essentially need to do at the start is make a decent bit of time to sit down, look through everything, set it up as you want it to be set up. But once everything's set up, you should be able to pretty much automate your finances and then spend minimal time as you go forward. You're checking in from time to time, looking at your budget, checking expenses to make sure that they align up, setting up a recurring contribution to an investment account, perhaps with a predetermined allocation as well. Honestly, when it comes to personal finances, you can work in a way where all of the time is spent setting up at the start, and then you don't spend much time going forward because the work is done and it's just you checking in to make sure that everything is okay. This is something that Ramit Sethi, author of the book I Will Teach You to Be Rich, says, and it's something that I've also practiced prior to reading that book as well. And honestly, it saves me a lot of time. I spend, probably about an hour every month checking in on my finances because I made all the decisions, months ago, even years ago. And now I'm just checking in monthly to make sure that, my recurring contribution has happened, how much I've spent compared to my budget. And then I take that away and then I go on with my life basically. So look into how you can set up a recurring contribution to whatever investing platform you use every month so that, it's done. You don't have to think about it. Also, if you're looking to automate your budget, try a budgeting app where you can maybe set up a predetermined budget, you connect your accounts, and then you've got the view in there and you can just check it at the end of the month. Something I've used in the past that I really like is Wallet by Budget Bakers. It's a really cool app, works with bank accounts from multiple different countries, and you can see all of your spending, and it's got some nice metrics in there as well. And the last two reasons that people gave why they weren't able to keep a financial resolution is that they don't have the information they need to be able to keep the resolution. So let's talk about friends and family and money. Me personally, I'm very passionate about personal finance. I love talking about it. That's why I have this channel. I love hearing other people's ideas. And me and my close friends as well, we often talk about ideas relating to personal finance and investing. But I understand for a lot of people that's not necessarily the case. Maybe money's been a bit of a taboo subject in your family. Maybe, your family, your friends aren't necessarily the best at managing money as well, or you don't know how you'd bring up the topic with them. Whatever the reason may be, it's clear that in some cases, money can be an uncomfortable topic for people to bring up around friends and family. However, I do believe that it's really important to talk to someone that you can trust when it comes to financial matters. Because when you share your journey with someone else, it can create accountability partners, which are really, really good. Actually, a good friend of mine and I, we are essentially one another's accountability partners. We catch up regularly on a monthly basis and we discuss how our weeks have gone, what we're doing from a personal finance perspective, and we give each other honest, unfiltered feedback about our personal finances and investing and saving goals. As I say, I'm very fortunate to have friends like this. I appreciate that's not the case for everybody, but what there are online forums, Facebook groups, etc., where you can post your questions and people in the community will give you their thoughts, their answers. Now, that's not to say take investing or personal finance advice from these people, but it's a good forum to get started, to get ideas, to discuss with like-minded people without fear of judgment. When it comes to information, of course, handling your personal finances, investing, saving is something that is quite personal to people, and they want to make the right choices. They don't want to make mistakes. So they're very cautious on what information, or they should be very cautious on what information they take into account. I've made a video about that and explained how I think people should consume this information. That said, the internet has opened up the door to a whole host of resources related to finance, investing, saving, managing your money. There'll be YouTube channels, newspaper articles, ebooks, even physical books from reputable authors. You don't need to know everything there is to know to get started. You just need a few bits of information to get you started, and then you will learn as your journey goes on. So perhaps you start by just looking at Dave Ramsey's Baby Steps or The Money Guy's Financial Order of Operations, for example. Understanding general money principles to get you started. And as you continue on your personal finance journey, you'll come across more content, more ideas, more concepts. You'll compare and contrast them together, and you'll be able to form your own opinion on how you want to manage your personal finance situation. So guys, I hope you found that video helpful and interesting, and whatever your New Year's resolution is when it comes to finance or even non-finance related New Year's resolution, I wish you all the best in succeeding with them, and of course a very happy 2024 from me at Millennials with Money. Leave a comment and let me know as well, what are your financial resolutions for 2024. So next time, I'll see you on the next one, and let's get this money.